Have you ever wondered why, when faced with the same challenge, some people rise with resilience while others crumble before adversity? Every great achievement humanity has ever reached, from world-changing inventions to quiet triumphs in everyday life, began with a silent victory, the victory within the mind. For the mind is the greatest battlefield, the place where every true struggle of success or failure is decided. Defeat in the external world is often only temporary, but defeat within the mind is truly permanent. So, how can we train our minds, fortify our willpower, and reach for anything we desire? Stoic philosophy, the timeless wisdom of great Roman thinkers such as Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, holds the answer. Let us explore together 7 practical Stoic methods, the very keys that have empowered generations to stand firm, free, and steadfast on the journey toward every goal in life. This is your path to mastering your own destiny, beginning with a victory in your own mind. 1. Awareness. To train your mind is not merely to command it, but first and foremost, to understand it. Before you can ever hope to master your fate, you must become the vigilant gatekeeper of your own thoughts. Imagine your mind as a vast and fertile garden. Whatever seeds you plant, whether of fear or faith, resentment or gratitude, will take root and eventually shape the landscape of your reality. This is the first and most crucial lesson of Stoicism: awareness. Without awareness, you drift through life like a ship without a rudder, tossed by every storm, prisoner to every fleeting emotion and impulse. Awareness is not simply knowing what you think, but watching how you think. It is stepping back from the relentless stream of thoughts and feelings that rush through your mind and asking with unwavering honesty, is this thought serving my highest purpose? Does it bring me closer to the person I wish to become, or does it pull me further away? This, in itself, is the true work, not just to react, but to observe, not just to exist, but to awaken. You must decide every day to become the silent watcher behind your own mind. The Stoics taught that the greatest freedom is the power to choose your response, even when you cannot choose your circumstances. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When you deeply grasp this truth, everything begins to change. Suddenly, you realize that you are not the sum of your anxieties, your doubts, your fleeting cravings, or fears. You are the one who observes, who questions, who decides what will take root in your mental garden. To live unconsciously is to live at the mercy of every thought that enters your mind, like an unguarded city open to any invader. But you are not defenseless. Every moment, you have the power to pause, to shine the light of attention on your inner dialogue, and to ask, is this thought aligned with my true purpose? Is it nurturing my growth or feeding my limitations? This is the sacred duty of the Stoic student, to cultivate an unwavering vigilance over the mind, to refuse to let it become overrun by weeds of self-doubt or bitterness. Awareness, then, is the very foundation of all change. Without it, no discipline is possible. You cannot transform what you do not first notice. The most persistent enemy is not the world outside, but the unseen habits and hidden assumptions that quietly shape your choices day after day. Success in any meaningful sense, begins the moment you decide to look within and see clearly the landscape of your own mind. Yet awareness is not achieved in a single moment. It is the fruit of daily practice, of gentle and relentless self-inquiry. Each morning you awaken, you must choose again to observe your thoughts, not to judge, but to understand. When you catch yourself lost in worry or anger, gently guide your attention back. What is this thought teaching me? Is it mine, or have I simply absorbed it from the world around me? In this practice, you become the master craftsman of your own mind, shaping it, refining it, preparing it to hold the greatness you desire. There will be times when your mind rebels, when old patterns whisper for your attention, when distraction and doubt pound at the door. But you must remember, mastery does not mean the absence of struggle, but the persistence of awareness in the midst of struggle. The Stoic does not seek to banish emotion, but to become wise in its presence, to recognize which thoughts deserve to be followed and which must be gently released. Ultimately, the journey of awareness is the journey home, to your truest self, to the still and silent core within you that cannot be shaken by the winds of circumstance. Every time you pause to question a thought, to observe without judgment, to redirect your mind toward what matters most, you lay another stone on the path of your own greatness. You must become the guardian of your mind, choosing carefully what you allow to take root, knowing that in the garden of your thoughts lies the future of your life. So I ask you now, what are you thinking? Where does this thought lead you? Are you ready to become the vigilant gardener of your own destiny? The path begins with awareness, and you set in motion the quiet, powerful transformation of your entire life. 2. Choice. You may not be able to control your first thought, that sudden spark of doubt, the unexpected flash of fear, the old habit of self-criticism. These are like winds that sweep across the open fields of your mind. They arise unbidden, products of habit, memory, the world around you. This is part of being human. But what you must understand is this: you are never powerless in your own mind. You are not at the mercy of every stray thought that enters. You hold a power far greater, subtle yet profound, the power to choose your next thought. This is where your real strength lies. You cannot stop the storm from coming, but you can choose how to stand in the rain. Imagine your mind as a garden. Weeds will sometimes appear, blown in by the wind, but you decide which seeds you will water, which plants you will nurture, and which weeds you will pull out by the roots. Every day, you are the gardener of your own inner world. You must choose, again and again, which thoughts will be allowed to grow and which will be left to wither away. The Stoics teach us that true freedom is not found in the world outside, but within the realm of our own choices. They remind us that between stimulus and response, between the first thought and the next, there is a space, a moment of decision. In that space, you are sovereign. In that moment, you can either become a prisoner of your old patterns or the architect of your own transformation. You must decide. Will you feed the fear, the anger, the self-doubt, or will you choose courage, gratitude, perseverance? When you become aware of this power, everything changes. Life is no longer something that happens to you. It becomes something you actively shape. Every time you choose to keep a thought that serves your highest self and let go of one that diminishes you, you reinforce your own inner strength. You begin to build a fortress of clarity and calm, brick by brick, choice by choice. There will be days when the negative thoughts are loud and persistent. On those days, remember, just because a thought enters your mind does not mean it deserves to stay. You do not have to believe every story your mind tells you. The mind, left unchecked, can be like an undisciplined horse racing toward fear, regret, or resentment. But you are the rider, the one holding the reins. You guide your mind, not the other way around. It is easy, in moments of weakness, to surrender to negativity. It is tempting to see yourself as a victim of circumstance, to let anger or bitterness take root. But this is not the path of the Stoic. The Stoic knows that life will present both suffering and joy, but only you can choose your response. You must choose to practice gratitude even when it feels unnatural. You must choose discipline even when every part of you craves comfort. You must choose to return again and again to thoughts that uplift and strengthen you. This is not merely positive thinking. Stoicism is not about pretending pain or difficulty do not exist. It is about recognizing the reality of your situation and, even so, choosing the most empowered response. You acknowledge the first thought, perhaps even greet it with compassion, but then you move beyond it. You choose again. Ask yourself, what kind of person do you want to become? What qualities do you want to embody? Each choice you make, each thought you allow to take root, is a vote for the person you wish to become. Success is not a matter of luck or circumstance. It is the daily disciplined act of choosing who you will be in thought, word, and deed. Every great achievement, every remarkable transformation begins with a single, conscious choice often made quietly, in the privacy of your own mind. So, train yourself to notice the space between stimulus and response. Practice becoming the observer of your thoughts. Catch yourself in the act of drifting toward old negativity and gently redirect your mind. Choose thoughts that are rooted in possibility, strength, and virtue. Water them daily. Over time, your mind will become a garden of resilience and hope. You will become the person who, no matter what storms may come, stands firm and clear-eyed because you know you always have the power to choose. This is the work. This is the freedom. The world may remain uncertain, but within you, the power of choice is absolute. And with each conscious choice, you train your mind to achieve anything you desire. 3. Repetition. There is a power that most people overlook, a silent, patient force that shapes destinies, forges character, and transforms mere wishes into unwavering beliefs. This power is repetition. It is not glamorous, it is not sudden, and yet it is the very engine of change. Repetition, practiced day after day, is the humble artist that chisels away at the raw marble of your mind, patiently sculpting the person you are meant to become. Every thought you choose to return to, every affirmation you whisper in solitude, every vision you revisit in your imagination, these are the seeds you plant in the fertile soil of your mind. Just as a gardener does not scatter seeds once and expect a bountiful harvest, you cannot merely set an intention and hope for miracles. You must return again and again to the garden of your mind. You must weed out the doubts, water your hopes, and allow the sun of attention to nourish your dreams. In time, these repeated actions will bloom into a landscape of strength, clarity, and inner purpose. Daily practice is not a chore, it is a devotion. Each morning that you take a moment to reaffirm your purpose, each evening that you recall the goals you hold dear, you are not simply going through motions. You are training your mind, forging new pathways, teaching yourself to see not just the world as it is, but as it could be through your determined effort. The mind, like clay, takes the shape of what it is molded by most frequently. And so, your repeated actions affirming, visualizing, revisiting your goals are the potter's hands, gently but persistently shaping your inner world. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." This is not just a poetic reflection, it is a profound truth about human nature. The things you dwell upon most become the fabric of your being. When you return, again and again, to thoughts of perseverance, self-discipline, and hope, these virtues saturate your soul. Over time, you do not merely think them, you become them. This is the work. This is the victory that no one sees, the quiet triumph that precedes every outward success. But do not be deceived by the simplicity of repetition. The world will tempt you with shortcuts and instant results, but lasting change is born of daily devotion. Just as the mighty river carves through stone, not by force, but by ceaseless flow, so too does your character take shape through consistent, repeated effort. Every time you choose to revisit your purpose, to return to your affirmations, you deepen the grooves of greatness within your mind. So, ask yourself, what thoughts do you allow to echo in the chambers of your mind? What habits do you return to, day after day, even in the quiet moments when no one is watching? For it is in these moments, in these repetitions, that you are training your mind to achieve anything you truly desire. And as you master the art of repetition, you may begin to wonder, what are the specific Stoic methods that turn simple habits into unshakable strengths? The answer lies just ahead, as we unlock the next essential principle in your journey of inner mastery. 4. Belief and clarity. If you wish to transform your life, you must begin by transforming your beliefs. Belief is the silent architect of destiny, the invisible engine that powers every thought, every action, every possibility. You may think that your limits are real, that the boundaries you feel pressing against you are unchangeable, etched in stone by fate or circumstance. But pause for a moment, look deeper. No one is born with a ceiling above their head. No infant enters this world shackled by invisible chains. The limits you carry are learned, absorbed from the world around you, from voices that doubted, from moments of fear, from the narrowness of the past. And what is learned can always be unlearned. What you have accepted as true can be questioned, can be broken apart and rebuilt, if only you have the courage to do so. You must decide, are you willing to become the kind of person who questions every limiting belief, who stands guard at the gate of your mind and chooses what may enter? This is the sacred work of a Stoic, for as Epictetus declared, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This simple yet profound truth exposes the core of personal power. Nothing outside of you, not circumstance nor hardship, holds ultimate sway over your fate unless you grant it permission through your beliefs. Every challenge you face, every obstacle that arises, is nothing more than a test of your internal clarity and conviction. If you believe you are weak, your actions will reflect weakness. If you believe you are capable, the impossible begins to shift, ever so slightly, into the realm of possibility. Yet belief alone is not enough. It must be married to clarity. To desire without clarity is like sailing without a compass, forever lost at sea, tossed by the winds of impulse and doubt. You must know, with absolute precision, what you want. Vague hopes dissipate in the face of adversity, but a clear, burning vision becomes a magnet for your energy, your time, your focus. Clarity cuts through confusion. It directs your will like a blade, shaping reality according to the form you hold in your mind. When you bring your desires into the light, when you define your goals in vivid detail, your mind aligns itself with action. Suddenly, you are no longer scattered, no longer at war with yourself. You become a force unified, decisive, unstoppable. So, train your mind not just to believe in the possibility of change, but to demand it from yourself. Replace old beliefs with ones that serve your highest potential. Stand before the garden of your mind and pull the weeds of doubt, planting seeds of conviction and vision. Hold your goals in sharp, unwavering focus. Ask yourself again and again, what do I truly want? And when the answer comes, commit to it with the fullness of your being. This is how you awaken the dormant power within, how you move from mere wishing to the relentless pursuit of what matters most. Belief is your beginning. Clarity is your guide. Together, they form the foundation on which every worthy life is built. 5. Action. You must understand, thought alone is never enough. The greatest ideas, the most profound realizations, will remain caged in the mind unless you find the courage to act. This is the work. This is the gap that separates dreams from reality, the someday that never arrives from the now that transforms your life. You must step forward, even if your steps are small, even if your heart trembles. Only through action do you plant the seeds of destiny. Your mind is a fertile garden, but what use is it if you never sow a single seed? Each action, no matter how insignificant it may seem, is the gardener's hand breaking the earth, making the invisible visible. You cannot think your way into a new life. You must act your way there. Action transforms vague intentions into concrete reality. It is the chisel that shapes your character, the fire that tempers your will, the living proof that your dreams are more than wishful thinking. And let me be clear, perfection is the enemy of progress. The people you admire, those who have achieved greatness, were not flawless when they started. They dared to act while they were still unsure, to speak up while their voices still quivered, to move forward even when the outcome was uncertain. You must decide right now that you will not wait for perfect conditions. Life will never hand you the right moment. You create the moment through action. The Stoics remind us, the only time you ever truly have is now. Action is also the birthplace of confidence. Every time you act, you cast a vote for the person you wish to become. With each courageous step, you begin to trust yourself. Your mind becomes an ally, not an enemy. You look back and realize that you are no longer the same as you once were. You have evidence, living proof, that you can change, endure, and overcome. Even a single action, no matter how modest, can ignite momentum. The discipline to act today is the power that builds the future you desire. Yet action does not mean recklessness. Stoicism teaches us to be intentional, to align our actions with our values, to do what is within our control, and let go of the rest. Every action, no matter how small, is a declaration. I choose to shape my destiny. It is the ultimate form of self-respect and self-responsibility. So ask yourself, what is the smallest action I can take today to move closer to the life I desire? What step have I been avoiding, waiting for certainty or permission that will never come? Your mind will resist. Doubt will whisper. Act anyway, because only action creates reality. Only action transforms potential into power. The path to mastery, to achieving anything you desire, is paved with countless small actions. Every journey, no matter how daunting, is conquered step by step, moment by moment. Train your mind, yes, but let your actions prove your commitment. Now, I invite you, what action will you take today to honor your deepest desires? Share your thoughts or your next bold step in the comments below. Your journey might just inspire someone else to move. 6. Persistence and discipline. There is a silent force that separates those who merely dream from those who truly achieve. That force is persistence, a quiet, unwavering determination that pushes you forward when every comfort calls you to stop. In the vast garden of your mind, persistence is the diligent gardener, patiently tending the seeds you've planted, returning every day to pull the weeds of doubt and refusing to give up, even when storms threaten the harvest. Success is never the result of a single, dramatic act. It is born from thousands of small decisions, taken again and again, even when enthusiasm has faded, when no one is watching, when the journey feels endless. Yet, persistence on its own is not enough. To cross the threshold from desire to reality, you must forge discipline, an unyielding commitment to act, not only when you feel inspired, but especially when you do not. Imagine your mind as a ship sailing across a vast and unpredictable sea. Discipline is your hand steady on the rudder, holding course through tempests of emotion and waves of distraction. There will be days when the winds of motivation are absent, when every fiber of your being urges you to rest, to compromise, to abandon the quest. But discipline keeps you moving forward, step by step, regardless of the weather within or without. It is easy to be ruled by emotion, to let fleeting feelings dictate your actions. But the Stoics teach us that to train your mind is to rise above this tyranny. Persistence is not a matter of feeling strong. It is a matter of choosing to be strong, again and again. Discipline is not a chain that binds, but the key that unlocks the doors to every future you dare to imagine. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The true battleground is always within. Each day, you decide, will you be the master of your mind or its servant? Those who achieve great things are not those who never waver, but those who return to the path each time they stray. They understand that every setback is a lesson, every temptation a test, every obstacle a call to greater resolve. Over time, this steady return, this refusal to yield, shapes a mind of steel, a mind that no failure can break, no criticism can diminish, no circumstance can conquer. You must decide who you will become. You must choose, each day, to persist. You must train your mind to obey your will, not your mood. And in this, you discover the greatest paradox of all. The freedom you seek lies on the far side of discipline. The power you long for is hidden inside the habit of returning to your work, your purpose, your higher self. No matter how you feel, in persistence and discipline, you do not merely achieve a goal, you become the type of person for whom success is inevitable. So, ask yourself, are you ready to become the diligent gardener of your own mind? Will you steady the rudder when the storms arrive? Because beyond the steady practice of persistence and discipline lies the final stage, the realm of true mastery. But what does mastery look like, and how can you claim it for yourself? That is the secret we'll uncover next. 7. Mastery. Mastery is not a destination, but a profound transformation, a quiet revolution within the self. You must understand, when you have trained your mind long enough, you are no longer the same person you once were. You are not the frightened child haunted by doubt, nor the restless spirit chasing validation in every corner of the world. Instead, you become a stronger, clearer, wiser version of yourself, a living testament to your own relentless discipline. This is the highest work, and it is the rarest. Mastery is the final prize, but it is also the foundation. It does not mean the world will bow to your every wish, or that circumstances will suddenly become gentle and easy. No, what changes is you. The storms of life will rage, but your roots now run deep. The noise and chaos may swirl outside, but inside there is a center unshakable, calm, and fully awake. When you achieve mastery, success itself becomes a side effect. It is not the trophy you chase, but the inevitable fruit born from your own cultivation. Because what matters most is not what you acquire, but who you become through the process. Your mind, once wild and reactive, becomes a garden tended each day with care, patience, and intentionality. The weeds of fear and impulsiveness are pulled up, replaced with the seeds of clarity and perseverance. With every discipline, every moment you choose to respond instead of react, you are the gardener shaping the very landscape of your fate. Imagine a key, simple, unadorned, but able to open every door. This is the mind, when mastered, a universal key that unlocks not only opportunities, but also understanding, acceptance, and peace. But you must remember, this mastery is not given, it is earned. It is the result of countless invisible choices made in the quiet spaces of your day when no one is watching. You must choose again and again to return to yourself, to your core values, to the inner citadel that Stoicism teaches us to build. This is the fortress no storm can breach, the harbor that shelters you when the world feels unkind. True mastery is living on purpose, not on autopilot, acting from conviction, not compulsion. It is deciding every morning that you will not be a victim of circumstance, but the author of your own story. What changes when you reach this state of mastery? You become the architect of your own inner world. Life's unpredictability no longer commands you. You respond to challenges as a wise captain steers a ship aware of the winds, but never hostage to them. Each setback becomes a lesson, not a condemnation. You see obstacles as teachers, adversity as fuel. The world outside may praise or blame, but your compass points true, guided by your own judgment, not the applause or criticism of the crowd. There is a paradox here. When you finally master yourself, the need to control the outside world begins to fade. You realize that lasting happiness, real fulfillment, is not found in outcomes, but in the unwavering alignment between your actions and your principles. You no longer seek validation because your own approval suffices. In this state, you do not merely achieve success, you embody it. You become the kind of person for whom achievement is inevitable, not because you demand it from life, but because you have become the kind of person who attracts and sustains it. Think of mastery as building a fortress from within, brick by brick, thought by thought. It is patient work. It is waking up each day and choosing integrity over convenience, persistence over resignation, discipline over distraction. Sometimes the victories are invisible. No one sees the battles you fight behind your eyes. But over time, something shifts. You begin to move through life with a quiet power, a confidence that cannot be taken away because it was not given by anyone else. And so, mastery is the art of living from the inside out. It is about constructing an inner life so strong, so purposeful, that no storm can topple it. This is what the Stoics meant by freedom, the ability to choose your response, to hold your ground, to act in harmony with your deepest values, no matter the circumstance. It is a state where your happiness is no longer at the mercy of luck or fate, but anchored firmly in your own character. Ultimately, this is the true gift of training your mind. Success may follow, but the greatest reward is always self-mastery, the knowledge that, no matter what happens outside, you have built a home within yourself that nothing can shake. This is the work. This is the victory. And this is the call. Train your mind, and in doing so, become the architect of your destiny. Remember, every external victory begins within. When you choose to train your mind to become the vigilant gardener, to hold the keys to your own destiny, you unlock the true power of Stoicism. The 7 methods we explored today are not mere theory, but practical tools to help you face adversity, build unshakable discipline, and move relentlessly toward your desires. The mind is both your greatest battlefield and your most faithful ally. You must choose to cultivate it, protect it, and challenge it every single day. This is the work. This is how greatness is forged. Now, let me ask you, which of these Stoic practices resonated with you the most? Have you ever used any of these methods to overcome your own struggles? Or is there a challenge you're facing right now where you need to train your mind? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I truly want to hear your story. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on new lessons in Stoic philosophy and personal growth. Watch the next videos now, appearing right here on the screen. Wishing you strength, clarity, and unshakable peace. See you at the next one.